Aisha Jumwa, 19 million graft case withdrawn. Murder charge against Aisha Jumwa withdrawn. Case against former Kenya Power MD Ben Chumo, Ken Tarus and 10 others withdrawn. The charge of rape against Mithika Linturi withdrawn. Businesswoman Mary Wambui had a 2.2 billion shilling tax case against her withdrawn. Another case in which she was charged with illegal possession of firearms and ammunition also withdrawn. Former NHIF boss Jeffrey Mwangi, alongside 13 others, also had graft charges against them withdrawn in a 1.1 billion shillings graft case. In November last year, the DPP made a decision to withdraw corruption charges against former Samburu Governor Moses Lenol Kulal, but he later had a change of heart and rescinded this decision, opting to allow the case to go on to its conclusion in the courts. But you see, it's not just withdrawal that is affecting the office of the DPP. You see, in December last year, the courts acquitted former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko of corruption and money laundering charges during his time as governor. The court also released his co-accused, Anthony Otieno Ombok. The court cited, get this, a defective charge sheet, stating that the evidence did not meet the threshold needed to prosecute the accused. That's not all. Joe Sang, the Kenya Power Managing Director at the time, was acquitted of corruption charges related to the 1.9 billion shillings Kisumu oil jetty project. He was acquitted for lack of evidence. Also acquitted were Gloria Kafafa, Vincent Korir, Nicholas Gitobu, Billy Aseka, and Samuel Odoyo. Now, I have one last illustration before I make my point. Businessman Humphrey Kariuki had his tax evasion charges quashed by the High Court in May. All of these, ladies and gentlemen, point to something. Just what is going on at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions? What is driving all these withdrawals of cases against high-profile individuals? Now, let me address the political rumors around it. Let's assume the position that the charges were politically motivated by the previous administration. Well, you see, the Constitution of Kenya anticipated this and protected the office of the DPP, stating, and I quote, "The Director of Public Prosecutions shall not require the consent of any person or authority for the commencement of criminal proceedings and in the exercise of his or her powers or functions, and shall not be under the direction or control of any person or authority." This clause in the law protects the holder of the office, guarantees him or her security of tenure that allows them the independence to decide which cases to prosecute and which ones not to. So if the cases in question were politically motivated, then did the DPP violate the Constitution? And should he then be removed from that position in line with Article 158 of the Constitution? Okay, let's put that aside. I want us to now take the other scenario, that perhaps this was a change of heart. You see, in fact, the law does allow the DPP to withdraw cases. Article 157(8) of the Constitution gives power to the DPP to discontinue a prosecution, of course with the permission of the court. It provides that the DPP can, and I quote, "discontinue at any stage before judgment is delivered any criminal proceedings instituted by his office," end quote. All right, well and good. But so what does it then say about the judgment of the holder of that office to institute proceedings, spend taxpayers' money through a judicial process, only to realize along the way that they do not have enough evidence to sustain the charge? Does that not point to a competence issue? By the way, incompetence is one of the grounds laid out in Article 158 for the removal of the DPP. Now, if indeed these cases either did not pass muster or were politically motivated, then imagine the damage done to the reputation of those accused. But here's one interesting fact. The withdrawal of those cases seemingly favors the high and mighty in this country. So what of the ordinary citizens like you and I? Is it possible that they also suffered the same fate? And if so, who will speak for them? You remember former Chief Justice David Maraga defending the judiciary when it was accused of dragging its feet in resolving cases? He turned the heat on the prosecution, citing instances where the charge sheets had too many counts, a long list of witnesses and lawyers representing parties, making it impossible for judicial officers to expedite the hearing and conclusion of such cases. Folks, there has clearly been quite a number of issues raised about how the office of the DPP has conducted itself. You see, whatever we are told as Kenyans, these are the facts as they stand. Every case that is being withdrawn today was first presented and even prosecuted by the very same DPP. And folks, we do not have any reports, images, or even videos of gun-to-head moments. So, we are owed a detailed explanation of these cases. What happened? Are these the only cases that were defective? How many other people are sitting in remand with defective charge sheets in court? Is the DPP able to make independent decisions about who to charge, or is he swayed by political pressure? Was there political pressure applied to charge certain individuals in the previous regime? Is there political pressure to drop them now? The drafters of the Constitution took their time to put in protections for this office to prevent all the back and forth we have seen from this office in the last few months. The mandate of the office holder is very clear. The method of appointment, resignation, or removal